Hi, Jen. How are you?
Woohoo! I am well. We're live. How are you?
I know, and we're drinking together. We're
Cheers.
totally virtually COVID drinking. How fun. Looking forward to when you can actually come over and like sit on the deck and we can like drink in person.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. You make up
So
a
you
mean you make up a mean cup of tea, so maybe I'll just bring some vodka over in a flask and you make me up some tea.
totally, I think that is a game plan. So today we are doing another little spot on Meet the Family because Jen and Derek from Olio Skin and Beard are our soap makers because they indulge me in all of my crazy ideas. I'm like, so I have this idea. Can
It's
we
a
do
great
it?
idea.
So, when I was putting together, I had a lot of time on my hands over the last few months between when I had the idea to do the cafe to actually starting it, that I started looking at all of the cost of all the products coming in. And I'm like, I really like to have olive oil soap. And then I looked at the shipping and I'm going, I don't really think I want to ship olive oil soap because it's extremely heavy. And then I thought, well, silly girl, you know people who make soap. And actually this idea kind of like started me down the rabbit hole of like who else I could have to do things. So you were kind of my first guinea pig of
Yay.
like, hey, can you make something? So, I mean, olive oil soap over in Turkey is a thing.
Yeah.
It's a big, huge thing where there are rooms dedicated to making olive oil soap and it just goes like straight out. I think my dad sent you a video or something at some point about it's just this massive operation and they're on their knees and doing all that kinds of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I don't got time for that, so
The videos are so cool, they line the floor from wall to wall, and they
yeah,
seem to always have soap batter going in the background. They're so
yeah,
accustomed to holding it that they're spooning it out, almost like there's nothing dangerous about it at that point.
of
And
course
so
not. It's just
I,
olive oil soap. It's hot olive oil. Like, come on, we cook with it all the time, right?
yeah, but one day
No.
I would like to go and witness it in real life.
Well, it's super fun to like watch them do it because they have these big, huge cutters and they just cut down on the floor and like cut and scoop and swing, cut and scoop. It's just a whole different process of making soap. And so, like, I didn't even know. Like again, like a lot of these things, like I'm like, can we even do that here? Like what I did with the coffee and doing with the soap, I don't know. So like, I had no idea if this was even possible making olive oil soap, let alone a lemon lavender olive oil soap that smells freaking amazing. Like I have it in my closet and I open up the closet when I'm feeling a little bit like tired in the morning. I open up my closet and I let it and then I'm like, oh, it'll wake me up.
I think more people hoard their soap in their linen closets than they're actually using because it smells delicious to open that up, to have a fresh bar of soap in there. And really, that's the best way you can store it. That kind of soap doesn't ever go bad. You leave it in a little area and you just let it air out, and it will just get harder and firmer, which ends up hanging around your shower for a longer period of time.
So it's a win-win all the way around.
Yeah. But so I had looked into olive oil Turkish soap, and
Mm-hmm.
it's dating back to the 1500s.
Uh-huh.
And what I found unique is it's almost like every family, from what I'm
Uh-huh.
reading, correct me if I'm wrong, every family had like their own olive oil soap. So let's just say here in Utah, people, they're passing out whatever they pass out for Christmas, and holidays. And over
Uh-huh.
in Turkey, like every family had their own kind of soap.
How fun.
And I mean, it was all the olive oil, but some things differ. I
Uh-huh.
read in Turkey, some of them were infused with like clove,
Oh,
um,
neat.
the lavenders, the frankincense. They were infused with herbs also. So
That's very cool. I had my
typically,
my parents would just get the block. They just get that big huge block And I have to say, personally, I like your soap better than the big block because it would just come in a big cube and you can't bubble a cube. I remember growing up and there would be like this big, huge cube that was bigger than my hand. I'm like, I don't know how to do this. Can I just have a regular bar of soap? So yours is just way easier to use because it's not this big, massive cube, which I love.
Yeah, modern soaping.
Modern soaping. So is it hard?
The olive oil soap?
Yeah.
I don't think it's hard. I mean, I think it's a timing thing. I'm sure it's very similar, it reminds me of cooking. Some things need to be timed correctly because temperatures are a big thing in soaping. And an olive oil bar is a little different. Whenever we travel, I try to pick up, we had been to Mexico a few times and they have olive oil bars there also. And I always try to pick up an olive oil bar wherever I go. They're typically unscented traditionally.
Right.
And the olive oil soaping schedule is a little slower than a bar that you're using multiple oils and butters. Also, in a face and body bar, sometimes people are using shea butter, coconut oil, or cocoa butter. So those are your hard butters, where with our olive oil soap, it's only the fabulous olive oil. So it takes a little longer to cure.
Okay.
And it comes together a little slower, which is great. You're not stuffing the dough in the mold trying to get it. It's a beautiful process. And depending on, I think the olive oil you got, because we agreed we would use your olive oil, Turkish olive oil.
Yep, I got that at Rancho.
Nice.
So I got a big, huge jug of like that region's olive oil because I didn't want Italian olive oil soap. I wanted like Turkish or that region's olive oil to be able to do that soap.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome. I have used olive oil from Italy, so I'm also curious. I love getting in there. It's a little bit of a richer, deeper color. So
yeah, I remember reading about some of the different olive oils, and some of them, depending on the olive oil that you use, they're either a little bit lighter or a little bit greener. Or if you use the Pomace olive oil, it has this kind of color, and if you use the pure, then it's this color. So like, it was really interesting to read that depending on the olive oil would completely depend on the color as far as where you were in that process. So that was pretty cool, and I also read, and I was a little nervous about seeing if we could even do it because a lot of the places is, yes, we let our olive oil soap cure for 6 to 8 months and we do them in batches and then we sell them every 6 months. I'm like, oh my God, how are we going to be able to do this? They got to sit for 6 months. So when you're like, oh no, it's done, I'm like, oh, and it's nice and it's done and it's not 6 months. This is fabulous.
Well, and yes, you're absolutely right. Let me tell you a little bit where that 6 months comes from too. When you pour a soap, you do let it cure for a month or two, and we do too, and yours will do that also. That is what's safe. But until all of those bars sell, that time is just accumulating. So I really feel like once that bar gets on your shelves, definitely 6 to 8 months is going to go by and there will be some bars sitting there. And like we said, they're just going to get better.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
That's good to know. So how did you get going with this whole soap business stuff? Because people might not know about Olio. So how did you get into all of your Olio products?
Oh, that's a great question. And it involves a lot of other local businesses. So it's always fun to tell. So basically, Derek and I have been entrepreneurs for a little bit. Before we started Olio, we had our own company delivering court documents, and we operated out of a couple different states. We hired process servers and served the documents. Now, when the economy is down, that's really great. But when the economy goes back up, you know, there's not a lot of court documents to be served, and the court documents that are being served are 10, 15, $20 instead of $60 to $80 to 150 to serve one document.
Mm-hmm.
So, uh, you know, you feel your way through life and the ebbs and flows of it, and we've kind of felt that coming to a close. So we said, all right, it's time to start something else fun. And at that point, I had reached the age that I could start seeing the difference in my skin from when I was in my
Mm-hmm.
20s. And I've always enjoyed skin, found it very interesting. So I decided to go to school for cosmetology. Derek picked up a little travel agent job on the side, and we started making the products that I was using on my clients.
Uh-huh.
I was doing my manicures out of my home, and the salt scrub specifically, and then the oil, they
Mm-hmm.
worked so well. So Derek and I said, we're going to farmer market. We're going to see how many people, if I want a product like this, there's got to be a lot of people that want this.
Right.
So we did. We went to market, started at Wheeler Farm, sold product on the very first day. And I think just like you, we were extremely determined to make it happen. So we
Yep.
did that. We wound up pairing up with the gal that we bought our soap from. Her name is Ammon Keys. She is the owner of Be Smooth Skincare.
Oh, I don't even know that.
And her and her husband wound up moving to Washington. And I said, what? I said, I can't pay to have the soap shipped here. It's going to be so expensive.
Right? See, you feel my pain of shipping soap. It's so expensive.
It is. And she said, well, you're going to make it then. And I said, I don't want to do that. I don't want to get involved with the sodium hydroxide. She goes, no, come on. You come into my basement and I'm going to show you how to do it. And I just gained so much respect for her. You know, she took me into her place where she makes that. I was able to see the molds she used, the companies that she used. You know, that's a lot of private information for
It
some of us
is.
small business folks. And so that started it. That started the journey.
Mm-hmm.
Before we were just skincare. And then when I started soaping, everybody says, oh my gosh, we were waiting for you guys to do this. So it's taken over. I think people enjoy a good handmade soap. And you don't even have to be loyal to one brand. You can try out every
Mm-hmm.
single,
Because they're all different. Everybody
they
has their
are.
own little trick or gimmick or something, and it's all a little bit different. And you have the oil cleansing and stuff like that. And I have to tell you, your oil cleanser is just it's a magical healer thing because one of the times that I randomly got like stung by a wasp. I'm like, oh, I got to put their oil on my wasp bite, and it never ever swelled. It, like within a couple of days, it went away. And then the latest, because I'm slightly accident prone. I whacked my head, my eye with the shovel when I was cleaning out the chicken coop.
Oh,
So I slashed my eye open, and it healed, but it never really healed. It just always had a scab. And I'm like, oh, silly. You have her oil in your cabinet. Why don't you put that on? Because it wouldn't never heal over. It would just have that crusty skin. It would heal and it would scab. Literally, I put it on, and within a couple of days, I didn't look like I got in a fight. And I mean, and it had been like that since I, sliced it open with the shovel, cleaning out the chickens for about a month. It just wouldn't heal on its own. And I put your stuff on, and like now it's all gone. So now I don't have a big, huge red spot on my eye
that's
anymore.
awesome.
So
It really
yeah.
is. Oils are so fabulous for the skin. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you've been in the shop, I'm passionate about showing people how the skin functions and, why oil can go on your skin. I remember the
Mm-hmm.
first couple times, hearing in cosmetology school that they were going to put oil on my skin. And I was like, no way, I'm gonna break out so bad.
right?
And I I didn't, and it was
Nope,
fantastic.
nope. It
But we
works.
are so dry here in Utah, not a lot of people know about an olive oil bar here. So it'll be nice to be able to talk to people about that too. The
Well,
suds
the
are a
nice
little
thing
different.
about the olive oil bar is they use it for everything. It's body, face, and hair. Everybody,
Yes.
they use it for everything. And it's, people don't have allergies to it because there's nothing in it. It's just olive oil,
Yep.
and so I think that it's one of those underrepresented bars of soap that people really don't know about. You only know about it if you happen to go into, let's say, a Mediterranean market and go, why do you have soap? And then they go, oh, well, this is what people use, you know what I mean? And that's, I think, how you get familiar with it. But olive oil soap, it's one of those original things that's been around for like over a millennia, you
Yeah.
know and it hasn't changed much, the process in a millennial. And I think that's one of the things that I just love about bringing some of these Turkish handicrafts and, stuff to Utah and asking my people, be like, hey, can you do this? Is that, you're taking these crafts that have been done the same way for 500 years, 1,000 years, or whatever. And there's just something so cool to be like, and we're going to replicate that here, like we did that with the coffee, we're doing with the soap, and there's a couple other things that I'm going to try to do too. But I mean, how cool to be able
Yeah.
to have that connection to history. Do you know what I mean? And that's what it is. It's just a connection to history, just doing it in a different way.
Yeah. And that is so fantastic. I mean, this is your roots, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Um, and I think it's new to Utah, and I think people just eat it all up.
Yeah, what would be really cool is like when my family's olive oil grove gets big enough where maybe I can import the olive oil from the family olive oil grove and be like, Jen, I got a new shipment of olive oil from the family olive oil grove, and then here you go, and bring, like, that would be
Oh,
super cool.
that
I
would be
would love
so
to be able to
cool.
do that.
That
You
sounds like a dream to aim for sure.
it's out there. It's out there. Things need to all build a little bit because my uncle's only had the olive oil grow for a couple of years, so it's just slowly. I don't know if they could handle the volume yet, but it's super cool to go, and I think people, they try to get me to try the newfangled olive oil, like the domestic and stuff like that. And I am just an old world olive oil girl. Like there's just something about like a 500-year-old olive tree that just has a presence, and to be able to create something from something that is so old, there's
Yeah.
there's just no comparison to going to California and getting an, you know what I mean? Like I just can't do it, So that was one of the reasons I'm like, I got to bring you olive oil that I know comes from old trees because I wanted to make sure it still had that wisdom in the oil,
Yeah. Well, the stamp that you've had made up is
Yeah.
absolutely beautiful. It looks so good on the bar. Um,
I'm so excited.
I love the design and the message behind it.
Well, that's what we're all about. We're just all about being a little bit soulful and a little bit kind. And I think that if we all just kind of embrace that, and if they see it, like I wanted something I want that on the products that people use, because even if they don't like read it to themselves, they're subconsciously, embedding it or infusing it, onto them. So maybe little by little we can shift people,
Right. I
Well, this
like
was
that.
fun. See, we can play and have fun on video live stream. Super
Yeah.
cool, right?
I used to be very uncomfortable with it, but with COVID and being an entrepreneur, you have to be willing to pivot and put yourself in situations that are out of your comfort zone. And it's still not my favorite thing, but when you have good friends like you and you're starting a cafe of your own and we're on this adventure of trying to get business together, you just
Yeah.
can't say no to that kind of stuff, you know? And we
I
go
think
way
I
back.
just wanted to start a cafe so that I could work with all of my friends. I think that's just probably the reason, so I could have everybody around all the time.
Yeah,
You know,
that sounds like
just
that
another
sounds like
excuse
you.
to come bug you at work, you know?
I really can't wait. I hope Mina plans on working and being a part of all this too, because to see her either come and pick up soap or me dropping it off and she's there working or something, that would be super cool. You
Well,
know?
I keep nudging her in that little direction. She's 14 and I'm like, Mom, you're too loud. You know, I don't know if I can be around all your loud people in the cafe, you know? So I'm nudging her going, dude, at some point you're gonna have to come work. You know, she's going to West for high school. You can just take the bus right up and get off, you know? So her friends are down with it. So I'm thinking when her friends kind of go like, come on, let's go work at your mom's cafe, she'll maybe jump on the bandwagon. So
Yeah, when they get to that point where they start needing like some good food and stuff, you know, they're gonna come asking you for food and
mhm.
how they do that. Our Kylie is 24 now, but from about 10 to 14, um, she wasn't our little Kylie. She had a lot of funny opinions on her own, and we went through a phase where we really thought she hated us, you know. And now at 24 years old, the relationship couldn't be better. You kind of let them be their 14-year-old self and, you know, get it out of their system. And by the time they're 18, they're coming back around and they're a little best friend again. It's a
Well,
funny
I think
age.
just watching this whole year and watching me do this, it's interesting to watch her from the beginning of COVID and asking her, so, you know, like, well, what are you going to do? And she's like, I want a box job, Mom. I want a box job. I do not want to be an entrepreneur. I want a box. I'm like, okay. And then we've gone through and she's watched me go through all of these things and stuff like that. And literally a month ago, she's like, so I don't think I can do a box job, Mom. I really think that people who go to work 9 to 5 are really unhappy. And I really don't think I want to do that. So I think I need to be an entrepreneur and figure that out. I'm like, all right. You know,
Yes,
so
Mina.
I think it's, you know, I mean, one of the reasons that I'm doing this cafe, even though it's absolutely freaking terrifying, is to show her that things can be terrifying. You still try. And if I fail at this, then it's okay. At least I tried. You know, I don't want to do this and then like back off because, ooh, what if, because I don't want to tell her that I don't want to show that, you know what I mean? So I think her watching this whole year of this ups and downs and the interaction with people, you know, she asks a lot of probing questions. So it's been really interesting to see her ebb and flow as going from like, I'm going to be in a box job, Mom, to, ooh, those 9 to 5 people are really not very happy, Mom. I'm like, no.
Yeah, there is a position for everybody. But I think, you know, especially a human coming from you, they're gonna have some creativity, you know? And so you choose your hard. You can go sit in an office or sit in a cubicle, and that works for some people. And for some people, it doesn't work. And we're in a lovely spot that promotes and supports that local entrepreneurism, like what we
Mm-hmm.
do, you know?
For sure.
But it is
For
hard. You
sure.
have to get out there, you have to talk, you have to put up with other small business owners putting you
Mm-hmm.
on the back burner, dropping the thing. What's the new exciting thing? You know, we've collaborated before. We collaborated on that monkey farts
Yeah. Somebody
collaboration.
actually, I have to tell you before I forget, because I get squirreled, I got myself a new hat that says nuts and squirrel because I have a habit of going nuts and I go squirreled. So before I go squirreled, they posted on my, you know, there was a question. So what's your favorite crazy flavor? And someone was like, that monkey butt one was my favorite.
Oh,
So just saying, it came back around. Somebody's like the monkey butt one, and I'm
I
like, oh
love
my god!
that.
If anybody like has like a monkey butt baklava, like what the hell did they do?
Yeah. Can you imagine like some of your ancestors hearing about the monkey farts baklava? They'd be
I
like,
know.
ew
They'd be
it.
like, what are you doing, you crazy person?
You're
You
torturing our
know?
tradition.
I know. Monkey farts, what the hell? Like, no, it was really good and it was fun. And I played with color. It's all good.
It was good. It was yummy. It got people smiling,
It
and
did. And you know
that's the
what?
thing.
That's what we all need is a little bit of smiling. Well, this was delightful. You need to come over and see my space when you have a minute because
I'd love a tour.
It's starting to look like a space, which is even better with furniture and rugs. So you just let me know and we'll go over there.
Will do.
Cool. Thank you. And how can people find your stuff?
If they're interested in looking at the products that we make, you can find us on our website, which is olioskin.com. Olio is Italian for oil. That's how that was chose. I have a little bit of Italian in my family. So olioskin.com. And then we also have a store at 21st and 21st, just east of Blue Plate Diner. You can come in and see us. And we love to chit chat. Blue Plate Diner is closing and that whole area is kind of being redeveloped. So we are encouraging people, go to Blue Plate, get yourself some breakfast or lunch, walk down the block, come and see Olio before we get into our new digs.
Mm-hmm.
And even that Jed's Barbershop there, they'll be closing tomorrow. And then
officially closing tomorrow?
Yeah.
Wow, the whole block is just going away. It's so sad.
It's crazy. It is crazy. Some of the people, the contractors that went into Formosa Grill, apparently that Formosa Grill has been sitting vacant for over 10 years.
I believe it.
They said
I've been
some
here
of
for
the
20.
They said some of the stuff they're finding in there is crazy.
I believe it. I never knew if that was open or not, that Formosa Grill. But I never saw anyone. So yeah, I believe it. So good luck on your new space.
Thank you. And we'll be, I'm sure, interacting and exchanging in with that. There will be some space for vendors to come in, classes, and this is why we do this stuff. Your people know my people know your people.
That is exactly it, my friend.
And every time we put something up on Facebook, there's always somebody that says, "Oh my gosh, I should have known."
Oh, of course.
Aleph knows Jen and Derek.
Well, why wouldn't we? We're neighbors. Like you literally live there.
Yeah. Look we can touch fingers.
See, yes.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for wanting to partner with us on this stuff and letting us be part of this little fun journey.
Well, thanks for indulging my crazy pictures in my head.
You're welcome.
Because, sometimes I have some crazy ones and people go, girl, I don't know if that's going to work in 3D. And I'm like, well, gotta try.
You're like, watch me.
Yeah. Next week, I'm going to go over to Romina's at Les Madeleines and we're going to try to make baklava ice cream.
Ooh, I cannot wait to tune in for that. These have been so cool. I loved seeing who you're interviewing, people from different time zones. And
it's an adventure for sure.
I love it.
It keeps me out of trouble, Jen.
Yeah, and you need to be kept out of trouble.
I know. I'm a big, huge troublemaker.
You are.
I totally
Let's do this again. We'll find some other way. Maybe once things settle down a little, or we're back in, within close quarters, we'll make a batch and broadcast.
Oh yeah, that would be so fun.
And go through the process and stuff like that, and get some, touching and ingredient feeling going on. So
that would be so cool. You just let me know when, and then I'll just put up this little live stream thing.
Alrighty, sorry.
Oh, it's all good. I got one of those. She was having a nightmare over here a minute ago, my dog. So it's all good. So welcome to COVID. It's all good.
Hey, come here. Okay, sorry.
Oh, my dog does this all the time. It's our little fuzzy children, dude. It's our fuzzy children.
At least she's working today. I mean, I got a camera on her in the house, and yesterday she just napped all day. So at least she's doing something today.
Exactly. They got to earn their keep, Dot. They got to earn their keep.
Yeah.
All right, friend, I gotta go make some spaghetti and meatballs for my child.
Thank you so much. Tell Mina we say hello.
I will.
Have
You
a
take
great
care.
evening.
Yeah,
Okay.
you too. Bye.
Bye-bye.